Hey mates, what's up? Hope you're all doing well and welcome back to CP Breeze Tech. Today I'm going to show you how to enable swap on a Linux machine. In this scenario I will use Linux Mint. Let me explain a bit what is a swap. Swap is a file on your drive that basically when your RAM memory resources not enough, the operation system will write to this file. So if you have a fast drive, it will give you kind of a backup until you will solve the issue of the not enough resources. But it's always better to use a RAM because RAM is much faster. It's like 20-30 times faster than the best SSD in the market. That's the reason you use a swap. I had a couple of scenarios that some processors had an issue that they consume too much RAM. Thanks to the fact that I enable swap, the system become very slow, but it didn't crash. Yeah, sometimes you have processes that behaving abnormally and consume too much RAM, memory resource. So until you will upgrade and add more RAM to the server, you can add more swap to your operation system and it will give you kind of temporary solution. I always allocate about 10 to 20% of my RAM as swap, just as a backup. Okay, so let's begin. As you can see, I open 4 windows. In the top right, I will write the command free-h. It will show you that we have 2 GB RAM on this system and the swap is 0 because we didn't enable it yet. I will run top. You can see the same. We have 2 GB RAM and htop. It's your sheet visually. Now let's run the command stress ng and allocate 500 megabytes. And as you can see, the usage of the run is going up. We still have free RAM. Now let's try with 1 GB. As you can see, all our memory resources are full. The system is kind of stuck. Yeah, I cannot do nothing. It's barely move. So in this scenario, I will reset the system, reboot the system because it's crashed. Okay, so now let's do the same test, but we will enable swap. Let me open the resource monitor as well. You see it visually better. So you run the command sudo fallocate -l and let's allocate 1 GB swap file because on this system I have about 15 GB, so I will enable only 1 GB. And as you can see, the file has been created. Give it permissions and we run the command sudo make swap and our swap file location. Okay, now let's write the command swap on and our swap file location and run the stress test again. And as you can see, with 1 GB stress test, our swap file start to get full. So we have on our memory almost 2 GB of usage and the swap take load of 500 megabyte. And you can see also in htop on top and also on the resource monitor GUI that the swap contain about, now it's 350 megabyte. Okay, let's stop it. Let's run it with 1.5 GB. And as you can see, the system is slow, but it's still operated. The swap file take load. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's try with 2 GB. And as you can see, all our resources full. The swap file is full as well. And the system is barely moved, but it's still working. It's sluggish, but it's still working. A lot of delay. Yeah, so before we didn't enable swap and the system collapsed. Now the swap is full and the system is working, but extremely slow. So that was a demonstration. You can run the command swap on show and then you see how much data the swap file holds, the size and the priority. You can run swap off -a and then you can see the swap getting empty. And now swap size is 0. Let's make it on again and you can see now we have 1 GB of swap. And if you want it will survive reboot, edit the fs tab under etc folder and add the swap file, location, mount point. If you have another swap file, you can edit here as well. Many swap files as you want, depend on your space, and give it priority, but I don't want to dig into it because I don't want to make it too complicated. Also, you can configure the stickiness level and etc. And if you want, you can delete the swap file if you don't use it anymore. Okay, I hope you understand, and if you have question, leave in the comment, like, subscribe, and have a nice day. Cheers.